I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance Forever, and you had to start your faff journey somewhere. Well, so did today's players. They're all of them quite low rated, but some of them show definite promise. Let's find out who. So here we are. 3v3 ladder on a naval map. So we've got 6 players, 6 very low rated players, 2 islands, and a lot of water in the middle, with mexes in it. Let's go in and meet the players. We've got Cold Team at the bottom, North Team at the top, and here is Cold Team. Going first for Cold Team, we have UnknownComm, who is 444 rated, and Eon in mauve. To his north, opening first air, we have Panelka, who is 972 rated in UEF in baby blue. Lots of trees to reclaim, but he's gone for a classic PGen opening here. And this is UnknownComm, who is 135 rated, and Cybran in dark blue. I'll probably call him Unknown, even though, you know, he's not the rather more famous and high rated Unknown. And this is going to be a problem for Hot Team. KGI, 488 rated in UEF, and opening nothing at all because he's completely AFK. Why am I casting this game if one of the players is just going to be AFK? Well, we're going to find out. To his south, we have Kraken, who's also opened first air, we can see there. Kraken is 694 rated, and Cybran in bright red. And looks like he's gone for much more of a tree claim fueled start, but is he stalling power? No, he's not. He's balanced that well. So good use of first air with trees there, like on Ceton's Rock. And last but not least, we have Fret, 401 rated and UEF. He's in Burgundy. So little bits of reclaim on all the islands, but this is where we're going to have to watch a lot of the action, because all the contested mexes, they are underwater and they're in the middle of the map, so Navy is going to be absolutely essential here. You can see we've got Navy queued up for Unknown and for UnknownComm. In fact, however, no Navy's queued up for North Team. However, Hot Team, whichever team. However, let's talk about this. This is an immense problem for a Hot Team. Having an AFK player, normally you just draw or resign at this stage. And the Cold Team have seen it. Having an AFK player means that these mexes, they're still going to be available to the team, but they're not going to be available until that player here, in this case Kraken, has had a chance to expand. And UnknownComm is asking, you have AFK there? Yes. Yes, they do have AFK. But it looks like Hot Team are not deterred by this. Hot Team are going to try and just take his mexes and play the game as normal, despite having a player who is not there. And now we have both members of Hot Team going for the water. So everybody who's actually in the game is going for the water except for Panelka. But Panelka has a different plan. He is just walking his comms straight forward, and he's going to try and claim some of these mexes. Though we already have Fret sending an engineer to try and pick up all these 7. And that engineer is of course faster than the comm. So Fret will get them first, but yeah, look at the difference in ecos. That is almost a 2-to-1 lead, and that's because Kraken has only had time to pick up these 3 mexes from the absent KGI, whereas obviously KGI's mirror, UnknownComm, has been building all his own mexes, apart from this one, which he's only just killed. So there's Fret getting his first water mex. Panelka still on his way there. But of course, if they come into combat, it will be much easier for Panelka to reclaim the NG than it will be for the NG to reclaim Panelka. Can you even reclaim a comm? I'm not sure you can. But this is our first tech upgrade. Like, just 5 minutes into the game, and it's not Navy or anything, or Air, which is what you might expect somebody to upgrade on a Navy map. Fret has gone T2 Land. Which is... what's he going to do with it? I mean, I suppose he could try and rush Wagner's, but... what's he going to do with it? Gun upgrade going down for Kraken. Is he planning to come through and try and jump out the water and shoot? I don't know. Meanwhile, we have Fret and Panelka still just claiming their respective mexes in the centre. But Fret's going to have a problem because Unknown has sent a submarine, and that's going to pick off the NGs. UEF NGs, they float rather than hover, and so they can be picked up by torpedoes. However, where Unknown has 1 sub, Kraken has 3, and that might make the difference. Although Unknown has now put down a decent lot of assistance on his naval yard and is getting another, so he may remedy that soon. However, this is Fret sub as well. Fret sub has come out here, and he is picking off mexes that Panelka has just built. However, this looks exciting. What do we have going on here? Is this an NG drop? Where's it? I thought he was going to drop Kraken, but no, he's coming back. Where's he going? He drops on top of... oh wow. Oh wow, look at this. This is not a reclaim. He is going to try and capture the naval yard. And he does! That was the Fret's naval yard, and NewComm just drops 4 engineers onto it and captures it. Amazing. The comm's right here and can reclaim it, or even capture it back, but still, that's hilarious. Kraken has 6 subs out here now, and that's a lot. There's only a couple trickling in from Unknown, and that's forced Panelka's comm back. However, these NGs are dropping and building a torpedo. The subs can't shoot them unless they surface. Fret pops out of the water and he tries to shoot the factory, but then he comes back in. He's realised he can reclaim or capture it back, but these NGs are building a torpedo launcher, which might cause him a problem if he does capture it back. The subs have moved on, and so these guys are not being denied their torpedo launcher anymore. They might get them up and shoot the mexes over here. The subs, however, have gone over here, and this is a lot of underwater pressure to apply to all of these engines. They're all Cybermen, so the subs can shoot them. Are they going to get up this torpedo launcher? I don't know if they are. Well, this might help. Panelka has gone T2 air, and he's getting out torpedo bombers, and the torpedo bombers are hitting the submarines, to which they have no answer. Meanwhile, torpedo launcher is also up here, along with a frigate arriving from NewComm, and the naval yard, which Fret has captured back, is now under torpedo bombardment. How can Fret handle this? Meanwhile, this pair of NGs is finally going to get up a torp launcher, and it does. Nice. The subs have come back from Kraken, but with Panelka's torp bombers to help out. Meanwhile, some of the main wave of subs from Kraken have come to counter these torps put up by NewComm, and they will do it, but the NGs are just going to get away, and the subs are continuing to be prey for Panelka's torp bombers. These NGs have got their torp launcher up, but they need to just capture these mexes now that the torp launcher has actually shot them. However, the torp launcher is going to come under fire from the subs. It will kill one, but Panelka brings in a torpedo bomber, and NewComm turns his engineers, and there's a reclaim. Yes, amazing. With support from torp bombers, Newcomb's NGs reclaim the subs before being taken out by the regular T1 bomber from Fret. I love to see a bit of play like that, reclaiming subs, dropping and capturing the enemy's factory. I mean, I've seen the comm walk across and reclaim. In fact, we were dropping NGs to capture a naval yard. That's amazing, and I love every second of it. Now, Cold Team's eco is still 50% ahead of Hot Team's, and that's no fault of Hot Team's, except for KGI, who is still AFK. But given that, Hot Team are not doing badly, Kraken has got the torpedo upgrade on his comm, and he's now coming forward. And he's also got the gun upgrade to give it that extra hitting power. And supported by Fret submarines, he's going to be able to do some real damage. However, I said these mechs in the middle were going to be important to fight over, and they are, but at the moment they're still a complete no man's land. We're seeing NGs being dropped in by Unknown to try and pick them up, but Unknown's NGs are cyber, and these subs will just be able to kill them if Hot Team notices. Where's that TOPCOM gone? Oh, he's come back to pick off this little frigate that one of Cold Team, I didn't see which, sent around the side. Might have been Newcomb? And Kraken has finished T2 Navy and is started with a cruiser. Why have you started with a cruiser? There isn't really... Okay, there are torp bombers, but they've got inties, and the air pressure from Cold Team hasn't been that great. A destroyer would absolutely be the right choice to start with here, but Kraken has gone for a cruiser. And Panelka, of all people, is not too far behind. Out of the active players, he was the last one in the water, but he's the first on Cold Team to reach T2. And the cruiser comes forward. Maybe he's considering that his TORPCOM is going to be enough to be the early destroyer, and then that the cruiser can do its anti-air work, though. Also, if this was a missile cruiser, I'd understand it, but it's not. It's just a Cyber cruiser. I definitely think that a destroyer would have been the right choice here. However, the torpedo comm is doing the work. There were a couple of subs around from Unknown, but before they do damage to the cruiser, these three subs are definitely going to be picked up by the torpedo comm. Look at this. One sub down, two sub down, and three sub down. The comm's barely harmed, the cruiser's barely harmed. Not much going on there. And so Kraken is now in torpedo range of these underwater mexes, and that might do something to remedy the eco deficit, because Hot Team, i.e. Kraken, has has 6 of these and is about to get the 7th, and even one of these. Whereas Cold Team is reduced to only 3, and the TORPCOM will be able to keep on clearing his way through them. The cruiser advances, and Cyber cruisers have a good rate of fire in long range with their direct fire, so they're quite good at picking off lower rated units like engineers, but the cruiser has no answer to these T2 submarine hunters and this swarm of subs from Unknown. So Panelka's brought sub hunters and subs from Unknown. Kraken does bring his comm in to try and help out, but that cruiser had nothing to defend against these, and Kraken just loses it for free. This is why he should have gone with a destroyer first. And he's got another cruiser out. Where are his destroyers? Is he building any? I mean, yes, he's got some queued up, but he needs destroyers. This is a torpedo boat coming out from Fred. I think they're the worst of all the, quotes, sub-hunters, close quotes, because it's not really a sub-hunter. It's a boat. But it will at least provide some assistance, and the TORPCOM is getting work done. However, there's still these 2 sub-hunters from Panelka, or one of the originals and one reinforcement, and Kraken is probably going to be forced back here. However, this is poor coordination from Cold Team. Newcomb brings in his navy with 1 sub-hunter, he's gone T2 as well, and a decent amount of T1. But it didn't happen at the same time as Panelka's T2 pushed. Panelka and Unknown, and so this is now horrifically outgunned because we finally do have a destroyer from Kraken coming up behind, and look at that, Newcomb's navy is torn apart. How much reclaim do we have in the middle here? That's about 5,000? Lots of reclaim is my point. Quick edit over here to say this has to be a misclick for poor old Fred. And if this one's finished, so he's just about in balance, but 2 mexes upgraded to T3 before being capped. Well, he's finally noticed and capped this one, but this is one of the most inefficient things you can do for my less experienced viewers, is upgrading a mex to T3 before surrounding it with mass extractors. Must have been a misclick from Fred, but he's recovering, he's noticed, and he's capping it. However, Kraken is still consolidating back a little bit. He's got engineers gathering here. What's he up to? That's what he's up to. He's going for stealth. Now, stealth is amazing in combination with the torpedo launcher, because to see it, you have to have a unit with water vision coming in range, so you can't just stream scouts overhead, unless you've got T3 air, and therefore have Omni coming in. More cruisers coming out. Where are the destroyers for Kraken? As Panelka's got his first destroyer out, we've also got T2 Navy up from Unknown, and he's got a stealth boat out to cover the destroyer. However, the stealth boat has now been seen and can be targeted, so that will stop providing benefits soon. The multiple torpedo boats from Threat have come in, and this is a significant T2 Navy now from Hot Team. And we've got 1 destroyer from Cold Team, so this could be a little bit of an issue. There were these couple of subs, there's a sub hunter there, and these 2 subs might actually get this cruiser, which would be a nice pickup. Another sub hunter comes in, but Cold Team loses its destroyer. Good pickup of that cruiser, and now this destroyer is on its own against this navy. Now, destroyers do beat sub hunters mass for mass. On number for number, but this is still going to be a difficult fight for this destroyer, and it's going to fall back. But we're going for full underwater Rambo here. Not only has he picked up the stealth, he's upgrading it to nano. So Kraken's comm and this navy is going to be huge, and now we have a much more significant horde of torpedo boats. That's a lot of torpedo boats. Build a destroyer, my dude. Well, nope, that's another destroyer. He's just queued up nothing but torpedo boats. I would love to see some destroyers in here, but what is this? What is this? We have a huge arty drop, 24 pieces of artillery coming in from Newcomb, and I don't think Fret's seen it. We're going to have to go into a play-by-play here, though, because Kraken is about to engage Navy, but this arty drop is going to be huge. Let's go and look at Kraken's Navy. Kraken has a destroyer and a slightly damaged cruiser. Cold Team have multiple T2 sub-hunters and a destroyer. I like this micro from Unknown, moving his destroyer back and forth. Not many low-rated players know how to do that to dodge enemy fire. 24 arties coming forward here, and that's a T2 mech that they're going to kill in like 1 volley. And we've got the T2 land, we've got T2 power up here, but what is there to defend against a giant horde of arties? Back to Kraken, who has brought his comm in, and also Fret's gifted over the torpedo boats. That's quite a lot of them. And suddenly things do not look so rosy for Cold Team. Unknown produces a cruiser. I do understand the importance of mixing in cruisers with your navy in general, but right now what he needs is destroyers and nothing but destroyers. And this is why, because this, look at all these torpedo boats. There's also 1 cruiser here, but he needs something that can stop these torpedoes and return fire. Panelka brings in his torpedo bombers, but the cruiser from Kraken just shoots it down before dying. Back to the arties as they charge in from Newcomb, and the T2 mech goes down, and a T2 power gen goes down. This is horrific for Fred. He's just losing all of his mexes. All of them. He's actually still got an immense amount of mass coming in from somewhere. But he's lost his T2 land HQ. He's losing every... Oh, this is why. Because he has those that we saw earlier up there capped now. And he's losing his flak. He's losing another mech, so he's lost 1, 2, 3, 4 capped T2 mexes. He's lost his T2 land HQ. He's lost his T2 power, and his comm is now under fire. Back to the war in the water. And there's a lot of T2 sub-hunter and destroyer production going on from a cold team, but is it going to be enough? This gun nano stealth torp comm is really doing the business. He's already on 5 vets, look at that, and the torpedo boats come swarming in around the naval yards, but Unknown does manage to get one more destroyer out. Back to Fret, where his comm is taking quite the bombardment from these arties, and he might clear them up in the end, though a T1 point defense is little help against arties. But look at the pain that Fret is suffering here. As another capped T2 mech is taken out. So now all his mass is coming from these 2 capped T3 mexes that he built at the back. Which is not to be sniffed at, but still. This is a crippling blow. Is Fret going to be able to finish the arties off? Yes, he is. He's down to the yellow, but he's going to clear them up. What an insane attack, though, from UnknownComm. I love every second of it. Back to Kraken, and this could be the salvation for Cold Team's Navy. We have a destroyer, an Exodus destroyer, coming in from UnknownComm. Now, these are best at close range because of their close range depth charges and because of their slow-firing shots, but luckily Kraken is able to concentrate right now on microing these units. And if I were him, I'd be worried about my comm, because look at this, we're now getting multiple sub-hunters. What's this? Panelka's given everything to Unknown. Interesting. Okay. But Kraken's comm is suddenly on only half health and is being forced back by multiple torpedo units. And he has brought a little more destroyer out, but UnknownComm's got his T2 Navy out here too, and since Kraken isn't microing them, they're taking full damage from these huge alpha strikes from the Exodus class destroyer. And this feels... well, actually it's hard for me to say. Kraken is falling back with its comm, but there just isn't enough production left. Look how much of the build power has been straight up destroyed. Come on, my dude, bring these things in. This T2 torpedo launcher will have helped, but if it's focused, then the destroyers just outrange it. And let's take a moment to note that Cold Team have 3 times the eco of Hot Team. And again, this is not Kraken or Fret's fault, because they're working on it with an AFK player, but it's surely going to begin to make the difference in the end if only Cold Team know how to spend it. Kraken pushing back in. And he's going to take out the naval HQs, I think. There were 2 naval HQs here, because Panelka gave one over, but if there's no T2 production capacity for Cold Team here, that could really, really cripple them navally. And I think that Unknown is going to try and put up a harms, maybe, when he's finished T3. That must be right, he's going for T3. The Cybran T3 torpedo launcher will be invaluable here to defend. And UnknownComm's bringing in more navy, but Kraken's comm is back in the fight, regenning like a madman with his nano. I'm loving it. And look at this, all of Unknown and what was Panelka's naval production is going to be taken out. Boom. UnknownComm has a decent amount of T1 production here and one heavily assisted T2 HQ, which is going to be nice, but is it going to be enough? Because don't forget that Fret is also pumping out his units, and that said, pumping out is a misnomer, because Fred has only just been able to rebuild this T2 P-Gen. He should have rebuilt it on the wreck, that would have been faster. And so he is stuck on just 11 eco because he hasn't got the power. Okay, that was lying to me. Oh, because he just finished the P-Gen, obviously. He just finished the P-Gen. He wasn't 11 eco, he finished the P-Gen, and now these two T3 mixers can start working again. Well, that confused me for a second there. Meanwhile, though, looks like... Does Crockett actually know about Newcomb's naval production? Wrong person to look at. Yeah, he absolutely doesn't. He must know that that's the T2 HQ, but he was just paused there for a second. However, he is moving back in, and I don't think there'll be anything to stop this wiping out all of Code Team's naval production. Unknown desperately trying to get back into the water, using Panelka's engineers, so he's going for UEF here. I think I would probably have preferred Cybran, to be honest. But back to Newcomb as he builds a destroyer, but against two destroyers, albeit one heavily damaged, and a cruiser. My money is on, and two cruisers make that, and another destroyer. My money is definitely on Hot Team taking out Newcomb's navy here. And down it all goes. Killing the NGs first with one of the cruisers, setting one of those to engine priority would be nice, but they're just gonna die in the crossfire anyway. This HQ is going down. That would be much more cinematic if it weren't for the edge of the world there. And now, Hot Team have been knocked completely out of the water and only just have tried to recolonize. Okay, he is going fully back in here. They really need to... How's his mass looking? Ooh. Interesting. They were going to try and recall, but it didn't pass. He has actually got the mass here, so, but the reclaim would not be useless to pick up. Because like there's a lot of reclaim there. Look how much reclaim is here. 7, 6, 4, 2, 3. There's like 20,000 reclaim in the area. And one destroyer stays behind to bombard Newcomb's main base as the rest moves to consolidate in the middle. And Kraken and Fret have been doing well with their eco despite their early... Oh, what's this? What's this? We have some actual action from KGI. He hasn't got any mexes, so T2 is going to take him a long time. But our AFK player has turned up and is... Well, I'm not sure at this stage he's going to be in a position to contribute much to the game. And Unknown has rushed T2 HQs on both his two races there. I would have gone for one and focused it to get out units, but, you know, at least he's back at T2, but will it be enough? Meanwhile, Newcomb is under fire from this destroyer and cruiser, and he's just T2 mechs. He's got air tech, of course, and he's trying to use it to get out torpedo bombers. But I don't know if he's going to be able to keep that, because this air HQ is within range of the Navy, and Crocker's Navy move in. But look at this. You know what's a good response to T2 Navy? Is T2 Arty, and these two artillery pieces, nicely capped with P-Gens, so they fire faster and under a shield. They are returning fire. Will it be enough though? Because this is a big T2 Navy. These torpedo boats are popping out to distract them. And the Arty is firing. Is it going to get many hits in? Well, yes, it's nearly killed a cruiser there. Shields going up to try and protect Newcomb's base from the destroyers, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. And Kraken is focusing on just completely taking Coative out of the water again. Oh, that was unfortunate. A shell managed to hit the edge of the for Coateam. And the Arty is pummeling it, but he hasn't really got enough to take out this amount of Navy. And Kraken is bringing his comm forward again. So, does this mean he's going to come out of the water? I would love it. I would love it if he did. And the arty is doing its best. Is he actually within the minimum range of Unknown's arty? No, he's not. So that will still be doing work, but it's got to get the hits in. Brief interlude down at NewComm space as the Air HQ is under fire from Kraken's Navy over there, and down it goes. NewComm doesn't have access to tech anymore. That's going to hurt. And he's doing it. My loyal viewers, Kraken is coming out of the water onto the enemy landmass, and remember, he's got gun on him. These arty pieces are not going to survive this attack. He charges. And there's a line of point defenses going up, but will it be enough? Gun, nano, and 5 vets. He's regenerating nearly 100 per second, and he's got 20,000 hit points to work through. He is absolutely going at it, but this is a lot of point defense that Unknown is throwing up. And the destroyer fire from both his own navy up here and threats down here will help out, but will it be enough? He's down into the red. 4,000 hit points left. He's fleeing for the water, but he might be out of range of the point defense. He's going to make it. Kraken makes it. He is escaping into the water, having just walked out of the water, trashed all of Unknown's ability to return fire, apart from maybe one T2 RT, and now there is... Where's his navy gone? Oh, it's regrouped over here, I think. Okay, one got sunk. That's nice. Good work from Unknown. But what can Code Team do now? This advanced range upgrade for NewComm probably isn't going to be able to do much, and he's just losing his mexes to the destroyer fire. And Code Team resigns. What epic low-rated legend play. Well, play of game has to be that early energy drop to capture Fred's factory. I love that. That was amazing work. As for misplay of game, well, I have to say that not actually doing anything at all, not a single click for 20 minutes, is quite a misplay. Anyway, good work from both teams, to be honest, especially for their ratings. Maybe there's a bit to be learned about what naval units to build when, but other than that, love to see it. Tell me what you thought in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm TheCommissar, and I will see you next time.